let's just dive right into it, Toddy. The winners and losers of the round one. I'll get it going. We'll just go tat for tat. So I'll do one, you do one. So we'll start with the losers. Um, the losers, I believe, in this draft has to be the Phoenix Suns.
Oh
You
yeah.
now have $190 million of your cap going to wing players. Devin Booker, Jalen Green, Dylan Brooks, Bradley Beal, Grayson Allen, and Ryan Dunn. So you have a lot of money going to these positions. And now you only have a log jam at shooting guard. You now have a log jam, excuse me, at center, trading for Mark Williams seconds before drafting Kaman Malawach from Duke. So now you have two big men. Toddy asked me, we were texting during the draft throughout, so we'll mention our text thread throughout the whole draft. He says, "You're not feeling the two bigs?" I said, "Not when one can't shoot." Um, we saw the Cavaliers really take that next jump as a team when Evan Mobley was able to step out and shoot that three ball. This is in 2000 basketball. Both of these
Not at all.
big men aren't, Shaquille O'Neal and Tim Duncan. They're not bruisers. So to have two skinny guys, yes, you're building depth for the future. But the construction 2 days into post Kevin Durant, I wouldn't be surprised if we hear a Devin Booker trade report. So
Ooh.
it's looking bad for the Suns. The worst gets worser. So Toddy,
They
what
had
one
to
of you?
give up their. They gave up next year's pick too to go and get. I believe it was it Malawach. No, yeah, or no, not Malawach. They gave up their next year's pick to go and get Mark Williams.
Yeah,
So, like Kevin was saying, the double big lineup. If you look at it from now, you pretty much it's five out. Somebody on the floor has to be able to be some sort of threat to the basket. You even saw with the Knicks and Mitchell Robinson. Pretty much every time he was in the game, the Celtics were kind of challenging him to make his free throws, and that's basically what teams will look to do with this Phoenix Sun team if it's kept as currently as constructed, because you got to have somebody on the floor that can shoot or at least be some type of threat to the three ball at any given moment in time. So, yeah, I kind of agree with you there on the Suns, because they like, what are we doing? What direction are we going? You already heard that Jalen Green was going to be a guy that was going to be rerouted. The draft is kind of coming and going. D Book is still there. You have Bradley Beal on a massive contract that they just are praying to somebody to please take this guy off of our hands. We don't know if they're going to try and send him off to the races and try and attach maybe a pick. They might have to attach a pick to Bradley Beal, which is sad, given how crazy his contract currently is constructed. So we're going to see where the Suns end up going to try and figure out what they're going to do moving forward.
definitely. Did you have another loser besides the Suns? Because I have another loser
You
right
can go
here.
ahead with your loser. I had a couple winners.
Another loser. 76ers. We have been sitting here being told to trust the process. You get a pick like this. You got Paul George injured, Joel Embiid, Tyrese Maxey. We saw Jerry McCain really flourish till he got injured. So you have a lot of pieces going the right way. And when you get to this opportunity and you have a guy like VJ and Ace Bailey, yes, I get it. VJ is going to be a very great player, but he's a project player. So when you have a guy like Ace Bailey, I get it. He went in there. He said he didn't want to work out. He said he didn't want to participate in the dinners or even go to Philadelphia. He's the only American prospect to not visit with one NBA team. He came out. There were reports saying that he wanted to go to the East Coast. He was preferred to go to either the Washington Wizards or the Nets, which was rumored for him to go to. So to see him end up in Utah, for the Sixers to sit back and really pass up on a guy like Ace Bailey. With a team that's win now, Ace Bailey can come in there and not only continue to be with the win now team, but help them carry on to this next transition of this team.
How does that work
And
though?
get it. VJ's, like I said, Todd, before you left, VJ could be very good, but he's a project.
He just
So
can't
with,
shoot.
with a guy like Ace Bailey, you can't let him walk out. You got to make sure you keep him in there, whether he wants to work out or not. The Utah Jazz said, fuck it, you're coming to Utah. So I feel like the 76ers should have definitely approached that
What
differently.
does Utah look like? How's
Trash.
it? how good can they be? I mean,
not very good at all. Like I said, me and Ty have been saying they're taking for AJ a year and a half in advance.
okay.
So Ty, let's unless you have another loser for us, let me hear one of your winners of the 2025 round one of the NBA draft.
I might have stole it from you, but I like the Pelicans draft. Um, Given on what they were able to acquire, getting a guy in Jeremiah Fears, I think he's a gamer. I thought he would probably be like second or third guard taken after, well, DJ is a guard, I guess. Point guard that is. I like Jeremiah Fears' game. I don't know why Kevin hates on him. Well, I don't know. I was like watching his film and I'm like, he's crafty, very, very crafty. I've seen Stephen A. Stephen A. came out on the draft coverage and said Jeremiah Fears might be Kyrie Irving, and I was like, whoa, hold on now. Now watch the tape a little bit. I see some craftiness. I don't see Kyrie. He's very crafty. He has a very good handle on him. Can shoot the ball, shoot 3 balls fairly well. I thought he showed up particularly well in most of the big games that he played in, particularly the SEC conference games. I thought he showed up really well in those. And then the Pelicans went and got Derek Queen, who a lot of us thought would have at least been a top 10 pick. I thought maybe the Kings were a team that might sniff around on him if he were to drop to a certain team or to a certain pick, that is. To get a guy in Derek, I essentially think that they got 2 top 10 picks in this draft. You look at what they already acquired in a Jordan Poole and Sadiq Bey. They got rid of guys over the last year. They got rid of Brandon Ingram, gotten rid of CJ McCollum. I believe that trade was yesterday, right before the draft. And bringing guys like Fears and Queen. I think that what this team is trying to construct of is, okay, Zion, let's say you're hurt for 60 games, 50 games, however many games he usually misses. We kind of got something, and they have DeJounte Murray coming back, I believe it was for a broken wrist. Okay, Zion, you're going to be out. We still have enough to be kept afloat. Let's not, go in blind, hoping and praying that Zion Williamson is going to be able to be healthy for the rest of the entire season. And, I mean, Joe Dumars basically traded up for that Hawks pick. They gave away next year's first to the Hawks. So they could be fucked. Let's just say all goes bad. Zion gets hurt. And they're kind of just, left out hanging to dry. They're bad, or the pick is really good because they're bad, and then Atlanta kind of comes up. So that is one thing that, kind of looms in the darkness, but I do think the Pelicans, they won this draft, in my opinion, based off of what they were able to get, how they were able to acquire them, and, be a little bit aggressive and go get essentially 2 top 10 picks with their 2 first-round picks.
Definitely. I agree with you. The Pelicans had a hell of a draft. To add Jordan Poole yesterday and be able to add guys like a Jeremiah Fears and a Derek Queen, adding him to those core group of guys. DeJounte Murray's coming back from a ACL injury, so once he gets back, he's going to be able to really mentor Jeremiah Fears. You have guys like Trey Murphy, who had an astounding year when you see Zion go down.
So Herb Jones, too.
Herb Jones is going to be there, so they're going to have a lot of young pieces over there. So it's going to be interesting to see what the Pelicans can do. I know that's how you mentioned that they gave away their first. I think the Pelicans kind of drew a line in the sand in this draft. They said, "Look, Zion, if you can't do it for us, we gonna get rid of you. We're bringing in more and more talent. We're gonna draw that line in the sand, and we're gonna be as aggressive as we can." Like Tiny said, they essentially got 2 top 10 prospects in this draft. One at 7 and one at 13. But there's also the other side of the coin. They could be asked, and like Toddy said, the Hawks can get there first and see how they go from there. Another winner in this draft that I had were the Washington Wizards. To get a man like Trey Johnson, he is going to be able to go in there and get buckets.
Oh, they're going to roll the ball out.
Trey Johnson, Walter Clayton Jr., they were able to trade up for him at 18. To be able to add those two guys to this young, established core, you got Alex Starr, who started 67 out of 67 games, 13 points, 13 points, 9 rebounds, and 2 blocks with 2 assists. So for him to really come in as the second overall pick and be that defensive anchor, this Washington Wizards team can be very fun to watch. You got Bilal Coulibaly, 59 games started. He averaged 12 points, 4 assists, and 5 rebounds. So to have a guy on the wing like that to play alongside Trey Johnson, Bilal Coulibaly is one of the best defenders on this team. So to have an offensive guy like Trey Johnson and Bilal on the wing to really be a defender. And then you have Bub Carrington out of the ACC. Toddy and I are big ACC guys. Bub Carrington really flourished.
Kings could have got him.
The reason they were able to trade to Jordan Poole was because they had Bub playing so well. He averaged 10 points, 4 rebounds, and 4 assists. Really underrated prospect. He was the youngest guy in the draft last year. So for him to come in and make this impact is the reason they were able to get off of Jordan Poole. So to add Trey Johnson and Walter Clayton Jr. to this young core, they could be very exciting. They're bringing in guys like C.J. McCollum. They're bringing in guys.
Jason
Chris Middleton. You said who?
Jason Richardson went to the Magic.
Oh, who cares? But to add to this young core and also have these veterans around them to really hone their game in is going to go a long way. We see a lot of teams like Oklahoma City Thunder have a few vets on the team that really make them go, really teaching them the roles of the day-to-day of the NBA pick or the NBA player. To be an NBA player, to have those veterans on the team goes along with it. They also have a guy like Marcus Smart. So to have a lot of those veterans in the room around these young guys, Washington Wizard fans should be very, very excited. I have one more winner of the draft. Ty, did you have any other winners you want to mention?
Winners, I had a loser.
Go ahead, let me hear it.
Yeah. The Memphis Grizzlies. What are we doing? Hey man, I could be blue. I might be screaming at clouds here, but who is the guy that they drafted? Yang Hansen from China. Hey man, they traded with Portland, made a trade. They thought he was the guy to go up and came from the crowd. He was in the stands. He was in the stands.
Wait,
he tried to go up.
Portland.
He went to Portland?
Yeah, he's going to Portland.
Oh,
did you remember I texted you how the hell
he got traded from there we go.
Grizzlies? Yes, so I was like, how the hell do you have a chance to get Derek Queen and you trade back for a center?
Yeah, so it's definitely Portland, not Memphis. Sorry about that. My apologies.
You're all good.
We're still fresh.
Another winner in this draft, the San Antonio Spurs. Yes, Dylan Harper at number 2, but at 14 for them to get Carter Bryant, for him to fall, he was one of the best 3-and-D players in college basketball last year. He was a guy who was a high school All-American, McDonald's All-American, doing it all. And to be able to have a guy like that really be able to flourish in a role that he's not used to goes a long way, because he could also put the ball on the ground and do a lot with the ball. But at Arizona, with guys like Caleb Love, he was forced to be a 3-and-D guy. And he even came off the bench. So to put him in different roles and to see him flourish will go a long way for the San Antonio Spurs. To add those two guys with Victor Wembanyama, year 2 All-Star, 24 points, 11 rebounds, and he averaged 4 blocks, alongside Stephon Castle, Rookie of the Year, 15 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists, Devin Vassell, Jeremy Sohan, to really put those guys together in this group. The Spurs have a lot of youth. I know I was one of the big guys saying the Spurs should make a move for Giannis, but they're in a transition to where they are going to build around Wemby. And if that means we take our time, we take our time. They have had the past 2 Rookie of the Years, and it's a good chance they can have 3 in a row. No team has ever had 3 Rookie of the Years in a row, so they have a chance to make history. They're going to be a very young team. We're seeing teams like OKC, teams like the Pacers, have a younger team, and you don't really need multiple stars anymore. We're kind of past that era now. So the San Antonio Spurs, if they can keep Victor well and keep him healthy, this team's going to be really good to watch. And they're only going to get better because now you make a trade for De'Aaron Fox and you get the number 2 overall pick. So what do you do with De'Aaron Fox? Dylan Harper, Stephon Castle are the point guards of the future for this team. So now De'Aaron Fox is looking like the middleman. He's a restricted free agent. They're going to let him go onto the market, test the waters. There's no way in hell they give him the supermax. I just don't believe it. It doesn't make sense to have 2 guys on a rookie contract and pay somebody of De'Aaron Fox caliber north of $35 million a year. Save that money because you're going to have to pay guys like Stephon Castle. You're going to have to pay Wemby outrageous money. We're going to see Shea sign for the richest NBA contract. Can you imagine if Wemby in 2 years what that contract's going to look like? This Spurs team is in the right direction. They're moving off the George Popovich era, so it's going to be interesting to kind of see how they move forward with this new assistant coach who's been on the staff for a long time. He was DeJounte Murray's AAU coach, so DeJounte Murray spoke glowing of him. And a lot of the young guys for the Spurs really speak highly of him. So it's going to be interesting to see with a young coach, with a young team, how this team kind of dynamic works out. What were you going to get at, Toddy?
Oh, I was just curious on where you thought De'Aaron Fox, where does he fit in all of this? I definitely think that point guard room is very crowded. Obviously, they invested in a high draft pick in Dylan Harper, 6'7" guard. We all thought that he was the consensus number 2 overall pick. And, De'Aaron's kind of that guy. They stumbled into this number 2 overall pick because when they traded for De'Aaron Fox in the middle of the season, he was kind of like, all right, Mike Brown gets fired. Please throw me a life raft. This is the only place I want to go, and that's San Antonio. Now, after De'Aaron Fox gets shut down midseason, Wemby gets shut down midseason, and all of a sudden they stumble into the number 2 overall pick. They're like, hey, I got to do what I got to do. So now you're kind of looking like, what team kind of needs a guard that's kind of maybe like a piece away that can go in and, go get it. I mean, when De'Aaron Fox is healthy, he's 26 and 7, 8 type of player. I think we can agree on that. And when he played in the playoffs, it's his only playoff appearance, he balled out. Albeit it was on a broken, lacerated, whatever, his pinky finger was fucked up. But I mean, I think whenever he's healthy, ready to go, he can, be a cornerstone piece on a championship team. I really do believe that. The question is, where can he land? Because I feel like, I don't know, I feel like San Antonio is trying to go a different route and build up their team core. They already have Wemby. They had the rookie in the year last year and Stephen Castle, as Kevin already mentioned. They just drafted Dylan Harper. So that is kind of looking like to being a core. You can package a couple of these young bucks that they already have on the team to maybe go out and get a ready-made player. I don't know who that guy would be, but perhaps another wing. You said for who?
Devin Booker?
Hey, you know what the Suns need? Young guys. They need young guys. Oh, De'Aaron Fox for Devin Booker? Is that what you were saying?
No, not straight up. Obviously not. But be able to package a guy like Devin Vassell, De'Aaron Fox, and they have what Kevin was screaming from the clouds the Kings should have got. They have the next 3 years of Atlanta Hawk unprotected picks. And what do the Suns need?
Picks. And they need picks and young boys.
Because I mentioned the jet log jam at shooting guard, De'Aaron Fox, Jeremy Sohan, and some picks.
Trade Devin Booker for De'Aaron Fox, some players and some picks. Jalen Green. I'm just looking like the Suns are going to be ass then. So, I mean, they're going to be garbage. They're going to have the double picks.
You got to do what you got to do.
They're going to have the double bigs. If you look at it, like teams that have the arsenal to make those big trades. I'm looking at OKC. They still have a shit ton of picks. Not Thunder. The Spurs have a lot of young players with a little bit of picks. The Pelicans still have that young player plus picks asset. So I'm looking at it from who is. And I don't even think Devin Booker is available, but then again, Desmond Bane wasn't available. Not to
never know. Them picks talk.
Anthony Simons, we never knew. Well, he was kind of a guy that
we knew
he was expiring. Luka Doncic was not available until he was. So I mean, anybody can be traded at this point. It's just what is that GM willing to give up, willing to go and grab. So I would Devin Booker and. I just think Houston or not Houston, the Spurs want to hoard all their picks and just. Do you think they could still go and get a Giannis? Because I'm looking like they would have to give up a lot of picks.
They got him.
They got them. They got the players too, but I feel like some players got to go too.
I mean, you can give away Carter Bryant.
Would you say like
Aaron
picks,
Fox,
4 picks, and 3
Sohan,
players,
and some picks?
like 3 picks, 4 players, or 4 picks, 3 players?
Hell no.
He's
4
Giannis,
picks.
though.
You have fun in Milwaukee. You're not getting.
That's what I'm just saying. Like, what does that trade look like? It's going to be
Carter Bryant, De'Aaron Fox, Jeremy Sohan.
I don't know if the young
and
guys
2
that
picks.
get drafted can get traded at a certain amount of time. I think that
They can.
Yeah. Hey. Oh, that you remember the when Andrew Wiggins got drafted to Cleveland, LeBron was there. Like, hey, Kevin Love.
I know you've been for 2 days. Get up out of here.
Yeah. So that was one thing that comes to my mind when LeBron came back to Cleveland. He was like, "Hey, we gonna orchestrate, get this all did." So
we get to a few comments. We got Uncle Manny saying, "What do we think of the 4 Nets picks for them to bring in 3 guards and Duncan Wolf?" Makes me wonder: is Cam
they
Thomas?
Don't know what they do. You said what?
Is Cam Thomas trade talks?
Probably.
I mean, they're a team that's not competing for anything. So, do you just get as many picks and young guys as you can and kind of just
instant offense?
So it's going to be interesting to kind of see what they can get.
I love
They have Nick Claxton they can trade. They have a lot of pieces that a contending team could use. So it's going to be interesting to kind of see how the Brooklyn Nets play this out. So Toddy,
I was going to say, just to kind of go back to the Brooklyn picks, I love the number 8 overall pick, Igor. From BYU. He's a dog. I thought he would have been. I didn't know if he was going to go out a little bit outside of the top 10, maybe like 11, 12, but he ended up going in the top 10. Not surprised. He's been a guy that I thought the Kings could have maybe be. Kevin was kind of intrigued by the player just based off of how good he was. I thought he played well in the tournament throughout the entire year. Was a projected lotto pick coming all the way from Russia. I think he's from. I heard on when he went to BYU, he didn't even when he committed. It was just a Zoom call. Yeah, how much y'all paying? All right,
I'm there.
I'm there. So, I think NIL has definitely changed the fact of these overseas players be like, I'll go to college, go get a little check versus I'm over here overseas. And it gives them a little bit more exposure. I thought BYU went on a pretty good run. I was gambling on them a lot this past March Madness. Mormons won me a little bit of money, but I thought he was. I'm excited. What's going to be cool is I want to see all of these guards in Summer League. That's the beauty of Summer League. I want to see all these guys kind of in action pretty early on. How do they handle things? One thing you don't want to do is take too much away from Summer League. Like, oh, he was just garbage. He's gonna be trash in the league, and then they
come to play in the season when it matters, and they hoop it.
Yeah. So 2 totally different things, but I thought he was a good pickup for sure.
Yeah.